Hello everybody. Boy, you can really tell I'm bored. I'm sitting here looking up odd things online. I've done a video before about the top 10 sex laws, and today I looked up the top 10 craziest ways to die. Is that not weird? And so let's see. Roll down here and get them for you. Number 10, insane fits of laughter. Apparently there was this one man who became so consumed with laughter that he actually lost his breath after laughing for like 25 minutes, was losing his breath so hard he suffocated, and he died. Number 9, a man, and I think I remember something about this in the news, but he was on the 24th floor of a building, and let's see, what is it? He was a Toronto lawyer, and on July the 9th, 1993, Mr. Hoy had performed the same feat in the past without incident. He had always just bounced right off the glass as the onlookers chuckled and glanced at each other nervously. What he was doing was showing how strong the glass was in the windows in his office. He was on the 24th floor, and he would push himself up against the window. His final demonstration certainly made an impact, although it wasn't the kind of impact he was hoping for. This time, when Hoy's accelerating body struck the glass, it popped out of the frame and Hoy fell to his death. So he ran up against the window and it popped out. Who would do that? Come now. I mean, common sense has to render. And out of all the numbers on here, this one is about the strangest. This is number 8. It says, when you're on your way to bury your dead husband, you probably don't think death will be striking again anytime soon. But such was the life of a Brazilian woman named Marciana Silva Barcelos. On November 10th, 2008, a funeral procession was on its way to the cemetery and in Alvarado. Barcelos, 67, was a passenger in the hearse carrying the body of her husband. He had died the day before. You know, in some countries they bury you within 24 hours. I guess this is one of those places. Suddenly, a speeding car struck the back of the hearse. Dislodged by the accident, Jose's coffin hurled forward and smashed into the back of Marciana's neck, killing her instantly. So she was killed by her own husband's flying casket. That's bizarre. Number 7 is about a man who, Dr. Hitoshi somebody. He's a doctor at Christus St. Joseph Hospital in Houston, Texas. As he was stepping into the hospital elevator one Saturday morning, the doors closed too early and pinned his shoulders. The safety system that prevents elevator doors from trapping passengers failed, and as the elevator ascended, the doctor's body went one way and his head went the other. Ugh. This is kind of scary. Number 6 is a sexual nature. Sergei Tuganov, love these people. He's a Russian. He suffered a severe case of death. I mean, I thought all death was like severe. Anyway, he bet 2 women that he could have sex with them for 12 hours straight, and he won the $4,300 bet and then promptly died. The doctors determined his death was caused by the entire bottle of Viagra pills he ingested before attempting the feat of sexual endurance. At least the last 12 hours of his life was a happy life. You could also ask Kenneth Pignon. He died from injury suffered while having anal sex with an Arabian stallion. Who does these things? He would regularly engage in bestiality and had his performances videotaped and distributed under the name of Mr. Hands. On July 2nd, 2005, Mr. Hands made love one last time to one last source before succumbing to acute peritonitis due to perforation of the colon. This is just weird. Video games. This is a weird one. In 1981, a 19-year-old boy named Jeff Daly. Well, I don't want to say boy because you're old enough to serve in the Army. I guess you're a man. 19-year-old man became the first official video game victim, and he racked up an impressive, get this, 16,660 points. That's 16660 while playing the game Berserk. And when he got that score, he toppled over and died of a heart attack at 19. Less than 2 years later, an 18-year-old boy, Peter Burkowski, also died of a fatal heart attack while playing the same game. That's just craziness. And I remember this one in January 2007, a 28-year-old woman named Jennifer Strange died of water intoxication after participating in a contest at a local radio station. In order to win the Nintendo Wii, the contestants competed to see who could drink the most water without taking a potty break. Strange ingested enough water to severely dilute the sodium levels in her bloodstream and bring about her death. I remember when this happened because I remember it was in the news, and I remember they talked about it on the radio, and they played clips of her. Everybody that was participating in this radio contest had to be on the radio, and they was playing clips of her talking and saying that she was getting dizzy, and she didn't feel so well, and she ended up dying. And that was really, really bizarre. And they even said that a nurse had called in and said that that was a dangerous game that they were playing because somebody could die, and said, and it even they were laughing about it, wondering, well, who's going to die from drinking too much water. And so the DJs and stuff were actually laughing on the radio where this woman was complaining that she didn't feel well, and she died. And I remember when that happened. Floods. Number 4 is floods. But this is not a regular flood. This was the London beer flood of October of 1814, and 9 people died after a 22-foot-high, 130,000 gallon vat of porter, I guess some kind of beer, burst at the brewery. It caused other vats to rupture, and more than 300,000 gallons of beer smashed its way through brick walls and blasted into the slums of St. Giles. The sound of the explosion was reportedly heard up to 5 miles away. They called it a beer tsunami. Said a lot of people ran outside with pots, pans, and anything else that could hold beer. They drank as much as possible and saved the rest. It said, technically speaking, only 8 of the 9 casualties were because of the actual flood. The 9th guy died from alcohol poisoning a few days later. Oh my goodness! The Boston molasses disaster of 1919. 21 people expired when a 50-foot-high storage tank full of molasses exploded and unleashed a crazy wave of sticky death through Boston's North End. The warm weather apparently helped build pressure inside the poorly constructed tank, eventually causing an explosion. Several city blocks were flooded, and the wave was high and strong enough to lift a freaking train off the elevated railroad tracks. They say it still smells like molasses there on hot summer days. Number 3, your own wooden leg. That would be a weird way to die. This was back during the Civil War. It was, as a matter of fact, in 1649, a man that was serving as a governor in Ireland. I won't read you all this because it's really quite boring and I can't pronounce a lot of the names on here. Anyway, he had a wooden leg, and somebody overtook him, and they wanted to check inside his wooden leg for gold. You know, rumor had it he had gold hidden in his wooden leg. And when they overtook him and they could not find any gold in his wooden leg, they beat him repeatedly in the head and killed him with his own wooden leg. Number 2, an exploding lake. This lake, let's see, it killed 1,800 people in 1986. There was apparently a pool of magma 15 miles below the surface. Dangerous gases had been collecting at the bottom of the crater lake. On August 21st, a natural rare phenomenon known as limnic eruption unleashed a murderous bubble of carbon dioxide upon the surrounding villages. And that's where it killed 1,800 people. This one is just a weird death right here. This man was died because of his enemy's severed head. Excuse me. He was a 9th century Viking. It says he died a particularly ironic death after returning from a successful battle. Having defeated his foe, Sigurd strapped the foe's severed head to his saddle and headed home. As he was riding, however, Mael, that's the man, Mael's tooth scraped against Sigurd's leg and caused a sore that later became infected in a fatal sort of way. So, it said, may all these brave souls rest in peace. This is just weird. Weird ways to die. They have a show on TV about crazy ways to die, but I can't remember what it was called. I know I've watched it before, and it was really interesting. But anyway, I'm just sitting here bored, even though it's Saturday and I'm on vacation. I'm just bored. I've already had my neck pillow in my rocking chair and took a nap, and so all my work is done. I have absolutely nothing to do. Well, I could always find something to do, but I really just don't want to do anything right now. So anyway, that was my top 10 crazy ways to die, and until next time, bye-bye.